Hello and welcome to another installment of the Electoral Map Breakdown. I am Jacob Bodner. Week after my first one, back with another breakdown. A couple things have changed. We've had a debate since the first breakdown, which hasn't changed things too much, but the map is slightly different, I believe, than what I produced last week. But other than that, not much has changed, but we'll go state by state. All the tan states here, if you don't know, are states that are up for grabs in this election. The map right here is provided by 270towin.com. Check that out if you want to put together your own scenarios. All polling data is aggregated by RealClearPolitics, but comes from several outfits. And all exit poll data that I will mention from the year 2010 comes from CBS News, and anything from 2008 comes from CNN. Let's start in Nevada, out west. Nevada is a state that has, if you look at the actual polls here, it's pretty much Obama, but it's Obama by very close margins. And if you actually look at the trend has been Romney as of late. Obama's margin has been getting thinner and thinner. I want to focus in on a couple of polls here because I think Nevada is a really important state. A triple P poll has Obama up 4. The DRI split in that poll, which again, if you don't know, is the Democrats, Republicans, and Independents that were polled in the poll. And you would like to see those DRI splits as close to what the turnout will actually be as possible. It was 42-36-23 with a D+6 spread. If you look at 2010, it was 35-33-32. 08 was even 38-30-32. So even in 08, when you had a big Democrat turnout, still was not 42% Democrat. They actually undersampled independents by about 9, because independents in 2010 and 2008 were the same at 32%. So big undersampling there. In fact, the only thing that changed really in 2010 to 2008 in Nevada were the amount of Democrats that turned out. So independents should be way higher up there, by 9%. So keeping that in mind, we look at independents and we see that independents in Nevada disapprove of the president's performance 51-43, an 8-point margin. They actually have a favorable view of Romney at the same margin, 51-43. Romney wins independents in Nevada 53-44 in that PPP poll. So if PPP had sampled the correct number of independents, we'd have a Romney victory likely. NBC also has a poll out there. 39-33-27 is the split. This undersamples Indies by 5%. Independents favor Romney and the economy by 3 in that poll. Gravis has a poll out where Romney wins independents 65-30. That poll undersampled independents by 13. So if you see the trend here, independents are not well represented in any of these polls, but they all favor Romney. The trend is all the independents in Nevada, in all the polls, are favoring Romney. They favor Romney in the economy. They have a disapproval rating that's over 50% for the incumbent. That's a big deal. So I think Romney actually wins Nevada. The base poll numbers on the surface might not necessarily show that, but if you dig into the numbers, you see it's really a favorable climate for Romney in Nevada. Moving on to Colorado now. Colorado in the latest polls are very, very tight. 3 polls have been taken after the debate. They have Obama up 4, tied, and +1. Let's take a look at some of these polls here. The one that has Obama up 4 is a PPP poll. The split in that is 37-36-26. It undersamples independents, oversamples GOP and the Dems. Indies in that poll favor Obama 51-43, which is interesting because it goes right against the national trend. You look at an NBC poll that has it as a tie at 48-48. That same poll had Obama winning by 5, 50-45. So it actually seems coming back from Obama a little bit, more support for Romney. 34-33-32 is the split. In 2010, the split in Colorado was 33-28-39. And in 2008, it was 30-31-39. So 39% of independents in both of those elections, undersampling of independents in this NBC poll. Now, independents in a couple polls, it's kind of all over the place. Independents in a Purple Strategies poll, which takes polls in all the up-in-the-air states. Across the board in all of those up-in-the-air states, independents have an unfavorable view of Obama. They disapprove of his job performance, even in Ohio. But in Colorado specifically, independents are 42-42 split, with 12% undecided. When you have 12% undecided this late in the game, likely not going to vote for the incumbent. However, I give the edge to Obama still, but a very close edge at that. But I do think that 12% undecided could be a favorable climate for Romney there. Moving on to Iowa now. Iowa poll, a recent poll there, a Gravis marketing poll shows Obama +4. Digging into that poll a little bit, we see that Iowa independents favor Romney by a 12-point margin, 48 to 36, and they disapprove of Obama 51% to 34%. Very hard for me to believe that Obama would win Iowa when independents disapprove of his performance by over 50%. The DRI split in that poll was 41, 35, 24. Compared to other years past, it's a big undersampling of independents by 10% and by 9% compared to 2010 and 2008. You even look at the Democrat number, way overblown. The Democrat sampling in the poll was 41%. Going back to even 2008, a very enthusiastic Democrat year, was only 34%. So you see this undersampling of independents and independents disapproving strongly of Obama and supporting Romney by a 12% margin. I think Iowa actually goes to Romney based on those particular numbers. Let's move on to Florida now. Florida, I think, is pretty solidly Romney. That's been the consistent trend as of late, even in the last couple polls. In fact, in the polls taken after the debate, it's really only strengthened. 5, 1, and 2 up. I know the RCP average is only 2%, but if you dig into some of those polls, I think Romney is pretty solidly going to win Florida. North Carolina, I don't think is any different. In fact, I think it's even better. You look at the polls that were taken after the debate. There's a PPP poll that has it at a tie, but then you've got a Gravis marketing poll that has it at a +8 with Romney at 53%. A previous Rasmussen Reports poll has Romney at 52%, so I think Romney easily takes North Carolina. Virginia's a little different, although I don't think it's too dissimilar to Florida. Virginia Fox News poll is a 39, 34, 23 DRI split. That's very similar to 2010 exit poll numbers, although it does undersample independents by a touch. Independents in Virginia, though, this is the key number according to this Fox News poll. They favor Romney 53 to 29. That's a big, big split for independents in that particular poll. So I would actually say Virginia is going to go to Romney as well. So here we are. 5 states left. New Hampshire up here. Wisconsin and Michigan aren't supposed to be states that are really in play here, but they are. Pennsylvania, I think, is solidly Obama, so I'm just going to go ahead and give it to Obama. New Hampshire is an interesting state, although let's skip ahead. Let's just do Wisconsin, because we'll get to New Hampshire in a minute. Wisconsin's getting close, very close. Rasmussen Reports poll, which is the only poll that was taken post-debate, has it at a tie at 49-49, which means that there's very little undecideds in Wisconsin, and the few undecideds that there are will likely determine this election. And I said it in the previous breakdown. I said it was going to be a Kerry-esque victory for Obama at 0.4% margin, and I stick with that. I say Wisconsin still goes Obama, but very close. We move on to Michigan now, where things are also getting tight. The only poll that was taken after the debate shows a tie, 47-47, which means there's a handful of undecideds. Previous polls taken before the last debate show Obama with 52% support, although one before shows him with only 44% support. Again, I think this is going to be a Kerry-esque victory for Obama in terms of the sheer numbers of about 3.4%. I would give him Michigan. New Hampshire is an interesting state. New Hampshire is one that is all over the map with these polls. I mean, some polls have Obama +9, some polls have Romney +2, some of them have him a tie. The only 2 polls that were taken after the debate virtually negate each other, with Romney +2 and Obama +3, so it's very hard to really dig in and see any of these numbers. New Hampshire, though, is a historically independent state. They have strong independent support, and if you look at some of these polls, there's a little bit of undecideds, but not a whole lot of wiggle room. Romney does crack 50% in that Rasmussen Reports poll, which is an important number to crack for any candidate. I'm actually going to give New Hampshire to Romney. I still have confidence that he'll win that state just with independents alone. So now we move on to Ohio. Ohio is, of course, the end-all, be-all here. That's why we ended last with it, but that's also what everyone seems to think. Ohio is going to likely decide this election, although there are some scenarios in which Romney can win without Ohio. We'll go over those in a minute. 2 counties in Ohio to look at that RealClearPolitics pointed out today, and I happen to agree with him, Hamilton County and Cuyahoga County. Those house Cincinnati and Cleveland, respectively. Cuyahoga County, Obama had twice as many votes as McCain in 2008. Hamilton County, Obama won as well in 2008. But Kasich won, the Republican governor. He won Hamilton County. Hamilton County is a little more fickle than Cuyahoga County. I expect Cuyahoga County to go Obama. It just depends on the margin in which it does. Hamilton County could likely decide the election depending on the margin of victory, I think, for Romney, because I think he will win Hamilton County. You look at some of the recent polling data there, it's all over the place. A handful of polls taken post-debate all show Obama up, most of which, though, with the exception of one, all within the margin of error. There's a time poll that shows Obama +5. This time poll, though, undersamples Republicans pretty severely. The Republican split, we'll just go 2008 just for good measure, was 39, 31, 30. So if you look at the 08 numbers, they actually undersample Republicans by 3. If you look at the 2010 numbers, they undersample Republicans by 9. Everything else, though, is pretty much spot on. Independents in that time poll favor Romney 55 to 32. If that's true, that would be a big deal. Early voting in Ohio is a big factor in this election. Now, only about 20% of voters have voted early. Those voters, though, overwhelmingly picked Obama. But if you look at the people who have not voted early, which make up 80% of the electorate, they swing Romney by about anywhere from 5 to 8%. Looking at an ARS poll, they have a D+7 in their split. That's not consistent with any number with the exception of 2008, but that's probably an unrealistic turnout for Democrats this year, to be perfectly honest. It was a low turnout for Republicans. I expect Republicans in Ohio and every state, for that matter, to show up with enthusiasm. If that independent number is correct from the time poll, which I think it's probably a little inflated, but if it's anywhere near that, and you figure that 80% of the electorate has not voted, and that 80% intends to vote by about a 5 to 8% margin for Romney, I would imagine that Ohio is going to go Romney, but ever so slightly, even closer than Bush won Ohio in 2004, which was 2%. So in this particular scenario, I have Romney 282, Obama 256. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for that Ohio pick, but to be honest with you, I don't think anybody can pick Ohio right now, but I have to because I have to complete the map. That's how this works. But Ohio could easily go Obama. It could easily go Romney. It's all going to depend on the next 11 days, and it's all going to depend on Hamilton and Cuyahoga County, although there are some other counties that are just as important, but Hamilton County, I think, is the one to watch. Not necessarily who wins Hamilton County, because I think Romney will, but by the margin in which he wins the county. Now, quickly, some scenarios in which Romney could win the election without taking Ohio. So let's put Ohio in Obama's column, in which he would win 274 to 264. If you look at that, that's a 10-point spread here. Romney could win Wisconsin and take the election by the same margin Obama could there. That's assuming he gets Iowa and Nevada, of course, and New Hampshire. Those are all very important states and obviously not gimmies. Or he could take Colorado and win the election, even if Obama were to win Ohio and Wisconsin. So there's a lot of ways that Romney could take this election, assuming this map that I have kind of conjured up here stays true. If we take New Hampshire out of the mix and we say Obama's going to win New Hampshire, it gets a little difficult. Even with 4 electoral votes, New Hampshire's an important state, because even if Romney wins Colorado, well, then we got a huge mess on our hands, because then it's 269 to 269. So burn this map in your brain, folks, because this would be a huge mess. Colorado goes Romney, Iowa goes Romney, Nevada goes Romney. And then every other toss-up state that we see right now that's really a toss-up, excluding Virginia, North Carolina, and Florida, goes Obama. You have a 269-269 split. And that would be a fun time. So there's a couple different ways Romney could win here without winning Ohio. Obama, he's really got to make sure he holds on to Wisconsin and Michigan. Wisconsin especially, that's a state that could fall from his grasp. Michigan, I think, is solidly in the spot. But if Wisconsin falls from Obama's grasp, that's it. That's game over. Romney's going to win. I don't see any two ways about it. But, of course, this is all in flux and could all quite easily change. I'll probably do another one of these maps next week, maybe a little earlier, depending. Next week's a big week for the election, obviously a week away from Election Day. Please, if you're going to leave a comment on this video saying I'm stupid, I'm wrong, I'm an idiot, back it up with some facts. Look at some polling data, dig into the numbers, and give me your reasoning why I'm an ignorant fool. That's much appreciated. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully be back midweek next week with another update.